The EFL Championship. Every season, the top and bottom is always tight. Anything can happen. Heroes are born and villains are created. The small can succeed and the best can be doomed for years to come. It's the hardest league in the world. I'm Louis Selling. It's episode 21 today, and the focus is on the run-in for the top 8 and the bottom 8 in the Championship. Today, I'm joined by a fellow journalist and Championship expert in Oscar. So sit back, relax, and welcome back to Midweek Fixture. Hello, Oscar. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
You are very welcome. So, whenever I get a new guest on the channel, it's always important for me that my audience knows a bit about you. So, tell me a bit about yourself, who you support. I mean, I think it's kind of obvious to everyone watching, and then anything else you think's important.
So I'm Oscar. I'm a sports journalist, sparring sports journalist. I go to Brighton University. I'm in the same class as Louis. Uh, Support Wednesday, as you can see, but I'm not actually from Sheffield. I'm from Portsmouth. So the links is family basically. So I also, a keen Portsmouth fan, and as well linked with family, whole fan too. Yeah,
Really interesting. A nice spread there around the country.
yeah. I mean, Hull and Sheffield's quite close,
Yeah,
but yeah, they're distant from Portsmouth. To be fair.
yeah. But yeah, let's get cracking on. We're going to start with the bottom 8 today, as I'd say probably the most exciting bit is the top 8, so we'll leave that till the end. And we're going to run through the fixtures of the bottom 8 and look how easy or difficult they are. But I think there's a nice spread between the bottom clubs. So in 17th, we have Portsmouth on 42 points. Their final 10 games are Plymouth, Preston, Blackburn, Millwall, Coventry, Derby, Norwich, Watford, Sheffield Wednesday, and Hull. So out of them final 10, they play 3 of the other bottom 8, which is Plymouth, Derby, and Hull. How do you see that final 10 games going for Portsmouth?
Um, so they haven't got a easy run in.
No.
I feel like they've had sort of easy games recently. I think they've got Plymouth at home coming
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Ports will be fine. They've picked up enough points recently. So yeah, 42. So what's that? 10 points clear. Ports
Yeah.
will be fine.
Yeah.
Score of
And
that
then,
believable. So
yeah.
yeah, keep that up. I don't see any problems there.
Not
Thankfully.
at all. And if they win the one against Plymouth, Derby, or Hull, then I think they're guaranteed pretty much to
Yeah,
stay.
I reckon at least probably 46 points.
Yeah.
You're pretty much guaranteed safe this year. So, a win, a draw, and they'll be fine. So, yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't start the season that well. I seem to remember
Oh, they were right down there. It wasn't looking good at all. It was very bleak, but um,
yeah
yeah, won an unbelievable home run, and now it's completely turned the season around.
yeah because they were one of the favourites, I believe, to go back down to League One. But it is
At one
nice
point,
to see they've had that resurgence. I mean, the home form in any league is always crucial to going up or staying up.
yeah, you're right. They need to improve their away form for next season, though. That's for sure. They've been shocking it away from home.
Yeah.
Uh,
But it definitely gives them something to build on, though, for next season. If they can stay up this season, that's always the goal. And then next season, you can start climbing and seeing
yeah.
maybe
I mean,
in a couple of seasons, playoffs, push
I'm
maybe.
hoping this season, to be honest, because if you look at like last 15 games or so, they're right up there in the conversation with the top six.
Yeah,
So if they can get a decent start, carry it on throughout the season. Of course, home form is good anyway. So just build on the away form. I think playoffs next season. I'm not even joking.
I mean, it'll
Outside,
definitely. I can agree. They've looked pretty in the games that I've seen, pretty solid. And then obviously get a couple of players in the transfer window if possible. Then you never know.
yeah,
But
and
next
I think
up,
the owner as well.
yes, 100%. But next up, we have another team who I'd say probably a similar pattern to Portsmouth this season. Had a pretty average spells, average start. Looked one of the favourites to go down, but they've had a nice couple of wins. In 18th, that is Oxford on 39 points. Their final 10 games are Hull, one of the bottom 8, Watford, Middlesbrough, Swansea, QPR, Sheffield Wednesday, Leeds, Cardiff, another one of the bottom 8, and then Sunderland and Swansea. They have some difficult games in there.
I think Oxford, if you're looking at the bottom, what, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 teams, apart from the bottom three, Oxford and Cardiff, and potentially Stoke as well, are the three you're looking at that could be dragged into it.
Yeah,
They had since they sacked the manager, they got Gary Rowett in, didn't they?
yeah,
They went a little run, had a decent manager bounce, but yeah, it's been pretty bleak recently. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like if they don't pick it back up again, they could be drawn closer and closer to the relegation battle.
yeah. And obviously they have a lot of ownership problems over the last few years, which has had a big impact on them, of course, with the stadium and everything, owning the stadium, but owning the grounds. Really horrible situation for the fans.
I think Oxford, if I were to pick out of all those teams of a team that could get dragged into it, bottom three wise, I'm picking Oxford there, 100%. I
Yeah,
think
I would agree because their next game is Hull. There's only 2 points separating them. Watford, Middlesbrough, Sheffield, QPR, Wednesday, Leeds, all above them in the table. A couple of them miles ahead of them in the table. Cardiff is probably I'd say definitely is a must-win game in there. Sunderland, a really hard game, and then Swansea, a difficult game as well. So they probably have the hardest running out of the bottom 8, I'd say.
the good thing is though, Hull are absolutely terrible at home. Like I think bottom of the league home wise. So going there, it's still a massive game, but I could fancy them getting a point probably. So again, you're looking 46 points.
Yeah,
Just get wins, and they've already got a decent tally. So it's not terrible, but you know,
yeah,
last few games haven't been great.
yeah. They have. I've watched them a few times. They have an okay squad. It is very much a League One squad that's come up, and they
I do.
haven't been able to.
Before the season started, I was set on them going down.
Yeah,
So they have done quite well to be where they are. I think the new manager bounce definitely helps with that, but
yeah,
uh, yeah, they should be all right to be honest.
yeah. And then next up in 18th, we've just spoke about them quickly. Is Hull in 37, 2 points behind. Obviously, they've got Oxford next to their next game. Again, a big game for them. West Brom, Luton, another one in the bottom 8. Sheffield Wednesday, Watford, Coventry, Swansea, Preston, and then the final 2 games of the season are Derby and Portsmouth, both in the bottom 8 at this moment in time. So then final 2 games could be pretty big for Hull to secure survival.
Yeah, I think Hull again will be fine. Since Celes has come in, they've been much harder to beat. Obviously, when Tim Walter was there, they went on a run of like maybe 12 games without a win. So he had to go. But yeah, since Celes has come in, they've been steady. So Hull will be all right, 100%, no doubt in my mind. Got a decent
Yeah.
squad as well. Owner likes splashing the cash, so I think they'll be fine. Next season they could be a decent side as well.
See, Hull were my biggest surprise in this bottom 8 because I had them in my predictions at the start of the season to be challenging for promotion.
Yeah, well, last season obviously they that's what they were doing. They were challenging for promotion. But what do you think about Rosinha getting sacked?
I think that was a really weird situation because here's a very good manager,
He's
and
doing well at Strasbourg now as well. You see,
and he
they're
was
on a minute.
he was still pretty decent at Hull. There wasn't really anything, unless it's obviously internal stuff could have happened that we don't know about. But
No,
I don't
no.
think they would have been 19th if they still kept Rosinha
I mean,
going
owner
into the.
said the reason he was sacked is because their philosophy of the way to play football didn't align. But I think the owner in January he just went all for promotion. They didn't quite make it,
Yeah,
so they did underperform last season if we're looking at a grand scheme of things. But yeah, I think that's probably why. And obviously, it hasn't worked out so far. It's been this season, whole overhaul of players and so on. So it's been difficult, but it might click next season. We'll see.
I mean, they are a team that, as you said, they've got a good squad, a good core of players in there that I don't think they should be 19th.
Nah,
And
no.
definitely not next season.
Next season, I think we'll see them get back into the top half. Yeah, but they won't go down, in my opinion. Really thought they did. Too good to go down.
I completely agree with that. And then just behind them in 20th is Stoke on 36 points. They've also got a pretty difficult run in as well. Blackburn, Millwall, QPR, Preston, difficult games. And then Luton and Cardiff back to back, both in the bottom 8 as well. Sheffield Wednesday, and then they've got Leeds, Sheffield United, the top 2 back to back. And then Derby as their final game, also in the bottom 8. So they have a couple of games back to back where the Luton and Cardiff one, they need to be picking up points.
Yeah, if they don't, then they could be in some real trouble. But I think Stoke will be all right since Mark Robbins has come in. They've been slowly getting better. I mean, I remember watching them play. Away at Wednesday, they were absolutely dreadful. Seriously, I can't remember if that was before the sacking or after, but yeah, they weren't good. Definitely looked like a relegation bound side, but yeah, they should be all right. All these teams, they've got a bit of a buffer to Derby, so yeah, as long as they up a few points again in these big games against each other, yeah, they'll be sound. So
yeah, and in Derby on the final game of the season could well be a secure yourself survival game.
yeah, that's massive. That's massive. I think Stoke might be. I mean, to be fair, Eustace, he's a decent manager as well. Derby, they beat Blackburn, didn't they?
Yeah.
Recently. So maybe that could be the start of a decent little run. Who knows? That could be a big game. Yeah.
I think that'll definitely be out of this list so far. I think that probably is the key game to look out for in the final game.
100%.
And then in 21st is Cardiff, level on points with Stoke on 36. Their next game is Luton, a big game for them. Blackburn, Sheffield Wednesday, QPR, Preston, Stoke, a game they need to be winning there. Sheffield, Oxford, another game that they'll be looking to pick up points in. West Brom and Norwich. It's an interesting one for Cardiff. They have 3 fixtures that they need to be looking at as must wins or must not lose, and then Blackburn, Sheffield, West Brom. Pretty difficult games that could cause some problems.
What, Sheffield side? United or Wednesday?
Both of them. They're playing both.
Oh, damn. Yeah, going to probably lose both.
I mean, it is pretty likely. Cardiff haven't been great.
No, I think Cardiff will be fine, to be honest. They've, from what I've seen, played well recently. They just haven't gotten the results. Who have they played? They lost 2-1 against Sunderland and 2-1 against Burnley. That's 2 really difficult fixtures.
Yeah.
That you don't expect a relegation-bound side to really get anything from. So, yeah, I think Cardiff, they had decent form recently. They'll be fine. They've got 4-point buffer as well.
Yeah.
It's close though.
It is close. Any slip up and it could be very dangerous.
Derby could be on something. I think Luton and Plymouth are dead set. Derby, no.
Yeah, next up, just behind Cardiff, is Derby in 22nd. They are in the first relegation place. They are 4 points behind Cardiff. They have, next up, Coventry, Plymouth, big game there, Preston, Swansea, Burnley, Portsmouth, Luton back-to-back, 2 big games there, West Brom, and then Hull, Stoke back-to-back on the final 2 games of the season. Some big fixtures for Derby to potentially pick up some points and pull off what looked to be the impossible a few months ago.
Yeah, I mean, we've been waiting for the points to start coming in since Eustace come. I think that Blackburn game was massive because obviously he come from Blackburn. So there was a lot going into the game. I think that did help them out a lot to win. And those sort of games can change a season. So I think Derby might go on a little run. they're the only team in the bottom three I see doing anything. Yeah, 100%.
I think they had a very good January window. Obviously, they lost Irene Cash in to Brighton, but they brought in a couple of Norwegian players who look very good, and I mean they look a reborn team against Blackburn, and even in some of the previous games just after the January window, the new signings looked pretty impressive and what they need to focus on to go
No,
on
I
that.
can't say I've watched Derby much this season. The last game I watched was they thumped Portsmouth at home 4-0, and Pompey there they were just terrible. So yeah, I can't really say much. I just know that their form's been bad,
Yeah.
but hopefully this Blackburn game they can get going again for their sake. It's going to be difficult, but we'll see. We'll see what they can do.
Do you think if they can win 2 of their 5 games against the other bottom 8 that they can stay up, or do you think they need more than that?
I mean, that puts them on 38. They're going to need more than that realistically if they want to stay up. Yeah, I think you've got 10 games left. Probably you're looking at most teams will get about a point a game, the teams above them, and they're already on 36. So I think that the cut-off to staying up will be 46 points. So Derby will need to do better, do more than that. Yeah, it's not looking good for them, but I think, as I said before, at the bottom three, they've got the best chance. And the only teams I see going into the drop zone for them is probably Stoke and Oxford.
Interesting. I would agree. I think the big one is Oxford that could drop in there as you said, but it will be an interesting watch Derby for the rest of the season. And then just below Derby is perhaps one of the most surprising teams this season is
Yeah,
Luton in 23rd on 31. Had a horrific season as a whole. Rob Edwards left. It was just a complete mess. The fans completely turned on him. But up next they have Cardiff, a game that if they're going to have any chance of staying up, they'd need to win. Middlesbrough, Hull, another one. Leeds, really difficult game. Stoke, another one in the bottom 8. Blackburn, Derby also in the bottom 8. And then the final 3 is Bristol, Coventry, West Brom. It's looking bad for Luton, I'd say, at the moment.
going down 100%. Yeah, they robbed Wednesday as well, so I'm happy to see it. Yeah. Who did they win against recently? Oh yeah, Pompey won it. Yeah, Pompey away from home are poor. Yeah, they to drop points at Luton is shocking with the form they're in. But I still think Luton are going down. You know, they just look terrible every time they play. No doubt in my mind about that.
I agree. I mean, it's interesting because in the Premier League, they weren't that bad. They had a chance of staying up.
Yeah, I feel like that's the sort of way they play. The stadium's very closed. You're close to the fans. It's a hostile sort of a lot like Pompey. So in the Premier League, if your play style is sort of long ball, make the game rough. Yeah, it kind of suits a relegation team like that, and that's why I think if you who else went up with them, Burnley, for example,
Yeah,
they're going up and playing passing around the back. In Premier League, when you've got players that aren't of the quality of the opposition,
yeah.
you've got no chance of staying up. So I think that's why Luton looked a bit better than the rest. Yeah.
That's a very interesting analysis there. I think also they did lose a few players when they went down. Ogbene, the big one that I'd say they lost, that it rips up the championship whenever he's played in there. I think he went
Yeah,
to Ipswich.
they've got a squad that is good enough to stay up, but I just don't think any of them could be bothered. To be honest, they all look
Yeah,
lazy whenever they're playing. Yeah, it's not good enough really. The new manager hasn't done much. He's good as well. He's meant to be properly good. He did a really good job at Wickham. So you know, yeah,
maybe
Luton.
maybe they'll be the team. They went from non-league to Premier League. Will they go Premier League all the way back down?
I think now next season they should be they should be fine. I don't see them going down again. That would be crazy.
They
Yeah,
shouldn't, but you never
who
know. And then,
happen?
yeah,
Anything happen? Yeah,
and then bottom of the league in 24th is Plymouth on 30 points. They've had a fantastic cup run, beating Brentford, beating Liverpool. I mean, they were very good against City, scored the opening goal, definitely looked right up for it in that game and perhaps matched City in large periods of the game. But their final fixtures, back to back, they have Portsmouth and Derby, two massive games there. If they are going to stay up, both must be wins. Looks very unlikely they will stay up, I have to say. Then Watford, Norwich, Swansea, Sheffield, Middlesbrough, Coventry, Preston, and they end at Leeds. That is an awful final 8 games.
Yeah, I was sort of thinking they went on a little run, didn't they, not too long ago?
Yeah, they had a good spell.
And I thought if they can get out, and be out for the next 5 games or so, they could be all right. Because I was aware of their really difficult end, but they haven't done that. They're bottom of the league, 6 points away from safety. Yeah, it's not looking good. I think Plymouth and Luton both dead set. They're definitely going down. No,
Yeah.
there's no way, two ways about it. It's looking bleak for them. It's not looking good.
I agree. So I was going to
Goals.
ask you, yes,
Go on.
who goes down? You said Luton and Plymouth, pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah,
Who has that final relegation spot?
Derby. I don't think
Derby.
I just think Stoke. Yeah, they have it in them to get the odd point. Cardiff are playing all right at the minute. Hull are too good to go down, as we said. Portsmouth are too far clear now. Oxford have a nice buffer. So yeah, if you can put all those reasons together, I can't see Derby doing it, unfortunately. So I think it'll be Derby.
I would agree. They've looked good, Derby, as I said, but that 4 points is a big gap to overcome. It looks small, but it's a pretty big gap.
It is. I mean, there is a lot of fixtures where they are playing each other, so that could completely change it.
Yes.
But just looking at the table, looking at the teams there and how their form is at the minute, I just can't see it. I'm sorry. I think the 3 there now are going down.
I think when looking at this fixture list, the most interesting thing I saw is all of you've got the bottom 8, the bottom 3 do not play Sheffield Wednesday in their final 10 games, but the 5 above them all play Sheffield Wednesday at some point.
Yeah.
What impact do you think Sheffield Wednesday could have in the relegation battle?
Well, so you said the bottom 5 aren't playing them.
So Derby, Luton, and Plymouth do not play them, but everyone
Yeah.
else above, Portsmouth downwards to Cardiff, play them.
Do play them. I don't think. I mean, I guess they could have a bit of an effect. I see us beating Cardiff and Stoke. Hull could be a good big game because Wednesday are quite bad at home and Hull are good away from home, so that could be tricky. I see us beating Oxford and Portsmouth. Played at Frat last time, so we'll be home for that game. So I feel like the games that we'll win will be Cardiff, Stoke, Oxford, and Portsmouth. So that would leave 1 point difference if we do beat them. I don't know, to be honest.
See,
Not really. But I don't think it'll make much of a difference. It could be anyone.
Yeah. Agree. So I just threw that in there to throw a little curveball in there, see what you'd think there. But now we will move into the most exciting part, I would have to say. It is the promotion battle and the fight for playoffs. In 8th, we have a team that looked pretty poor
Wednesday
last
is what you're saying.
Never know. But in 8th, team that looked pretty poor last season was Blackburn. They're on 52 points. They've had a resurgence this season. Their next fixtures are Stoke, Cardiff, Portsmouth, all in the bottom 8, as you know. Middlesbrough, Sheffield Wednesday, Luton also in the bottom 8. Millwall, and then their final 3 are Sunderland, who are 4th. Watford, and then Sheffield United, who are 2nd. How do you see the rest of the season going for Blackburn? Can they get the playoffs?
No, no, I don't think they can. I don't think they've got enough in them. They've really surprised me this season, to be fair. Um, they've been very solid. A lot of the games they've won it's been narrow wins, so they've grinded out results well. But they've just been too inconsistent lately, and I feel like what we were seeing was from fifth to like 13th, 14th, all the teams were dropping points consistently, and it was allowing Blackburn to sort of stay afloat and in the battle. But now you've got Coventry on an unbelievable run. You've got West Brom starting to pick up results. So I feel like now there's sort of a gap starting to bridge, and I don't think Blackburn have got enough to get back in there.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, the Sammy Schmodek sale was
Big
one
for
that
them.
thought would pretty much nail them on to go down the season, but
Yeah, they
fair play,
reinvest
they've
well. To
done
be fair.
well. They've
Yeah,
done very well. And then just above them in seventh, just outside the promotion playoff places, is Bristol, 53 points. And I have to say, they have probably one of the hardest run-ins here. Sheffield United, Norwich, Burnley, Watford, West Brom, QPR, Sunderland, Luton, Leeds, and Preston.
yeah, that sounds tricky. That bloody hell. I don't
They,
think Bristol. I think the last 5 games they've been decent. They haven't lost yet. For Bristol, that is,
yeah,
that has been. They're just mid table every year. So this season must be nice for them to finally actually be doing something. But yeah, I don't see them doing anything again. Unfortunately, it's just Bristol. So I just can't see it. It's what they do. It's in their DNA to not
yeah,
just finish the table side.
yeah. And when you play 5 out of the top 8 in your final 10 games,
Yeah,
pretty
no
difficult.
chance. The running's too difficult for them. 100%. If they had some easy fixtures, I could see potentially them sneaking in there. But yeah, no chance, in my opinion. Probably Blackburn have
Yeah,
once.
I would agree. And then in sixth, 2 points above Bristol in the first playoff place is West Brom on 55 points, a team that are trying to get their way back into the Premier League. The next games, they have Burnley, very difficult game, Hull, Norwich, Sunderland, Bristol back to back, Watford, Coventry, and then the final 3 games are Derby, Cardiff, and Luton, all in the bottom 8.
Yeah, I don't. West Brom absolutely robbed us. Not too long ago. Yeah, there was a massive game as well. Got a goal. Gassimer's goal got disallowed, unfortunately. So that game could be what gets them into the playoffs as well, which really that does annoy me. Yeah, I think West Brom have a good chance of getting there. They've looked decent recently. I thought maybe after Corberan leaving, they might sort of fall off a little bit, but Armstrong has been brung in. He's a brilliant striker for this level. So yeah, they've got all the ingredients to get playoffs. I think. Yeah,
100%. And then their final 3 games, I mean, if they drop off a little bit in the games before, they have that last 3 to pick up the points against teams that are much, much poorer than them.
yeah. So it's looking good for West Brom. Um, they're definitely one of the main contenders. We'll go into a few more at the end, but
I would
yeah,
agree. And then just above West Brom on 56 is a team that has had a fantastic run recently, picked up some form under Frank Lampard. In fifth is Coventry on 56 points with a few interesting fixtures. They got Derby, a game they need to win if they want to stay in the playoffs. Sunderland, Sheffield United, Burnley back to back is a difficult 3 run of games. Portsmouth, Hull back to back, then West Brom, and then Plymouth, Luton back to back, and they end at Middlesbrough. So they have a few games back to back that they need to be picking up 6 points, and 3 back to back that are very difficult in Sunderland, Sheffield, and Burnley.
Coventry's another side that have recently robbed us of 3 points. We absolutely destroyed them. I was really surprised actually, because we played them at the wrong time. They were on this unbelievable run. They still are. So I was expecting big things, but they weren't good. So I feel like maybe Lampard's just got them grinding out results,
Yeah.
get lucky here and there. But yeah, I mean, looking at it, you've got to say Coventry are favourites. Nailed on fifth there. They keep
I
it.
would,
Yeah.
I would agree. I mean, when you look at the table, you have West Brom and Coventry 55, 56 in fifth and sixth. And then you have a big jump of, is it 12 points to Sunderland in fourth on 68.
Coventry had a terrible start, didn't they?
Yeah.
Since Lampard's come in, they've been flying.
So I think, as we just said, Sunderland now, I think they've pretty much guaranteed themselves playoffs.
Oh yeah, yeah. We sort of known that for a while now. I think
Yeah.
some will get fourth. Top three are maybe a little bit too good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it'll be interesting in the playoffs because Sunderland have been nailed on for so long. Coventry have obviously only just gotten in there, but they've got the form, they've got the momentum going into it.
Yeah.
Maybe Sunderland have to settle for another year in the Championship next season after
Perhaps
being
not the worst thing for them. They do have a difficult run.
what Sunderland.
Yeah, Preston, Coventry, Millwall, West Brom, Norwich, Swansea, Bristol, Blackburn, Oxford, and QPR as their final 10.
Yeah, I mean they I don't see them getting in there. I think they're nailed on fourth. They've got like enough points to Coventry, so I think we're looking at Coventry, Sunderland as one of the semi-finals here. Yeah,
Do you think another year in the Championship is a good thing for Sunderland or a bad thing? Because they could lose the likes of Chris Rigg, looks like a name that's going to be snapped up soon for big money if they stay down. Tommy Watson, I know, was under a lot of interest from Brighton in the January transfer window. They have Enzo Lefebvre on loan. I know he's injured at the moment, but he's had some fantastic games for them before his injury. I don't think they'd be able to bring in a £30 million player in the Championship if they stay down.
yeah. I mean, I don't think going up in for anyone's case is ever a bad thing, but staying in the Championship wouldn't be the end of the world for them because if they did go up, they're probably going to come straight back down. You got parachute payments though, so it could, in the long run, help them out more. But I think for their case, maybe staying in the Championship for another season isn't a terrible thing. Yeah,
Yeah, it just depends on their summer transfer window, I would say. But then in third
yeah.
position on 74, a team that have been one of the best defensive teams in the world of football this season, hadn't conceded in any of their last 12 before playing Cardiff, I believe. That is Burnley on 74 points. They could get automatic promotion. Playoffs probably looks the most likely, I would say, at the moment, but they're only 2 points behind with a run of West Brom, Swansea, Bristol, Coventry, Derby, Norwich, Watford, Sheffield United, QPR, and Millwall. What do you think happens with Burnley in their final 10 games? Can they do
Um,
it?
I'm hoping they can do it. Yeah, 2 points. It's doable with their defensive record as well. They conceded though recently, didn't they?
Yeah.
Again, it was against a terrible side as well. Can't remember.
I think it was Cardiff, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, it was. It was Cardiff, but that was away from home, so they're still on this run at home,
Yeah.
which is it's really impressive. Really impressive. Their defense is unbelievable. You got Stev, Egan Riley. What a partnership! I think you could see if they go up, Stev getting sold on. Even if they go up to a bigger side, he's far too good for this level. Um, yeah, hopefully Burnley can do it. I'm praying.
I think Scott, if anyone's going to get them up, it is Scott Parker. He plays some very boring football, I have to
Oh,
say, but
they're terrible to watch. It's,
but they
it's
grind it out.
it's been working for them this season though. Unfortunately,
And I
yeah,
think that's a type of football that could keep them up if they do come up.
yeah. That's what I was saying earlier. If they're playing that sort of football, defense is what wins games. So
Yeah.
we could see them potentially stay. I don't see it personally, but probably the better chance they had than last time with company.
Yeah, they were a bit naive when they come up under company, I would say. Trying to play out
Yeah,
from the back in their first game against Haaland was always going to end in disaster.
yeah, agreed. Southampton again this season as well, doing the same thing,
Yeah.
playing out from the back. It's not going to work for these sort of teams.
First season's just about get up, stay up, do whatever
Yeah,
you have to take to stay up, and then you can start developing how you're going to play,
Yeah,
bring
you've
in a
got
few more names.
first before you start doing passing from the back. Can't do
100%.
it. Chip level players, no way. It's a
No
recipe.
chance. Really is. And then coming up into second in the first automatic spot, only 2 points above Burnley, is Sheffield United on 76. Coming up is Bristol, Sheffield Wednesday, Coventry, Oxford, Millwall, Plymouth, Cardiff, Stoke back to back, and then Blackburn. Do they go up automatically or do they drop to the playoffs?
Um, in my, if I were to predict, I think I'll switch Burnley and United round. Uh, Sheffield United play bad almost every game. They literally they they concede chances. If you look at XG against, there's always a decent amount against them. They just somehow end up winning every game. I don't know how they do it. It's really frustrating, actually. But yeah, that's if you win when you play bad, that's a sign of a good team, and they've been
Yeah.
doing it in week out. So yeah, they've obviously got a very good chance. If you they got a 2 point deduction as well, so they would be top if it wasn't for that.
Yeah, so that 2 point deduction could really be the difference between Premier League and Championship next season.
Yeah, it could be. Come on, but I hope Burnley do it. I hope they bottle it. Really do. Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of expecting you to say that from. But
From
then top of the league is a team that they have to do it this season, otherwise I think they're going to be doomed in the Championship for the rest of the lives of all the players, all the fans, and that is Leeds, top on 76, joint with Sheffield. There is a 25 goal difference separating the first and second, and then coming up for Leeds is probably one of the easiest run-ins out of all of the top eight. Millwall, QPR, Swansea, all mid-table. Luton, excuse me, Luton in the bottom three. Middlesbrough, Preston, mid-table. Oxford, Stoke in the bottom eight. Bristol in seventh, and then Plymouth, bottom of the league.
Yeah, Leeds will be fine. I think they're winning the league 100%. They've had one blip against Portsmouth, but they've got the best team by an absolute mile. They've
Yeah,
got the money. I see Leeds going up and potentially staying up, to be honest. I think out of the three to go up, they've got the best chance of staying up next year.
I think, yeah,
Just because think about all the sales they made as well. They didn't
yeah,
really invest this year either, and they've still got a ridiculous team.
yeah.
So they have a lot of money to spend in the summer, and I think there's no way they're bottling it this time. There's no way.
No, I would completely agree. And as you said, I think they have maybe a bottom five Premier League team easily at this point, and then in the
They're be-
summer,
yeah, they're better than some Premier League sides, especially
yeah,
the bottom. Like their team is just a joke.
yeah.
Level, it's way too good. It's unfair. Yeah,
I mean, if even if they don't sign any players in the summer and don't lose any, I think it's a team that could finish 15th in the Prem, 16th in the Prem.
yeah. I mean, they in my opinion, they definitely need to make a few signings.
Yeah,
Need to get rid of Melier for a start.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, probably a new striker. I mean, Piru's all right, but against Pompey, he missed a lot of big chances when they lost 1-0 recently.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
But yeah,
but
as you Leeds to win the league, I think that's probably everyone's safe bet. Probably the 99% chance of that going to happen. Coming second, I know who you want it to be. Who do you think it will be?
I'm still going to say Burnley.
Yeah,
Like maybe a little bit of bias there, but I think obviously defensively, like the best we've ever seen in the Championship.
yeah,
So, and also recently, they've been scoring a few goals as well. It's still
yeah,
boring, but beat us 4-0. They won 4-0 again. I can't remember who it was against, but they've won 4-0 since then again, and this was long ago. So, yeah, I think Burnley will
Burnley.
do it. Yeah.
And
It will
then,
be down to the point deduction as well.
yeah, I think that will be I agree, that'll be the big thing that separates them two there. And then who do you think makes the playoffs? Is the only change you're going with Burnley, Sheffield?
I
And
think
then
Sheffield
West,
will be third,
yeah,
Sunderland will be Coventry will be fifth. Oh. And then sixth is interesting because we didn't mention Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
who are obviously good enough to be in there.
Yeah.
If they get their act together, I feel like they could be a force to be reckoned with. Norwich as well. They've got
Yeah.
Sargent. That is a ridiculous attacking duo. So if they get their stuff together, and I want to throw in Wednesday as well. I think we've been really recently, and if we got points where we should have, we'd be right in the conversation. So if we go on a little run, I think I'm deluded. I know this is waffle basically, but
You never know.
I'm hoping we're outside chances of getting in. But if I'm being realistic, it's probably going to be West Brom how it is now. Same with the relegation. Yeah, I think it'll be.
I would have to agree. It looks sort of the fixtures they have as well. It looks like it's pretty much going to stay. But then the big one where form goes out the window, in my opinion, anything can happen. Who wins the playoffs?
We mentioned Coventry. They're coming in with a lot of momentum, so I think Coventry Sunderland will be a very interesting game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to predict, really.
Hard to predict. Anything can happen in the playoffs. Anything can happen in the Championship the whole season.
Yeah.
Who would you like if you had to pick one that you'd like it to be? Who would you pick? If you had to pick, yeah.
So I've got Sheffield United third.
Yeah.
West Brom sixth. I think United will probably win that, but I'd rather West Brom win. So West Brom go through, and then Sunderland, Coventry. I'd probably pick Sunderland, to be honest, out of who I'd want to win, but who is, it will probably be Sheffield United, if I'm being honest. Unfortunately, I don't want to say it. Hopefully Coventry's momentum will see them through, but yeah, I think maybe West Brom won't. It's between United, Sunderland and Coventry to win it, yeah.
I would completely agree with that. It would be nice to see Sunderland back up. They definitely have a good core of players. They'd have to add a few, but we will have to see. But I think that is everything for today. We will definitely come back at the end of the season to see how right or how wrong we were in, and then give a big review at the end of the season. But thanks for coming, Oscar. Love talking about the Championship. Definitely, personally, one of my favourite leagues in the world.
Yeah, my favourite. Definitely better than the Prem. The Prem's been terrible.
In terms of competitiveness, well, Prem's been quite competitive this year, I have to say. Anyone could get Europe at this point, but the Championship...
Europe's been alright, but Liverpool are clear, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, and also, bottom three, whoever comes up goes down.
Yeah. I think that could definitely be the case again next season. Leeds, perhaps the anomaly there, but from...
Yeah, it's too big now. It's growing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. I do feel like, though, if Leeds stay up next season, we won't see them in the Championship for a while.
No, I would agree.
I feel like they're that side to sort of push on, like a Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Like that kind of side, so... Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for coming on, Oscar. Loved having you on. And I will see everyone next week. Not entirely sure what next week's episodes will be, but we will see. See you later.
See ya.
Adios.
Thank you.